Imagine the love of your life currently sleeping with another person. Like, that's literally Mr. Brightside.
What is your profession? Sup?
This is better. So good, bro. I honestly never know how to start these videos, man. But a lot of you guys have asked me to talk a little bit more on my relationship experience, more particularly my open relationship. And so here we are. This is a little bit about my open relationship and what it has taught me and the value that it's brought me. I know there's a lot of negative stigma against things like polyamory and open relationships. But in order to truly connect with you and to potentially even make an impact for others, I know that I need to be 100% transparent and I need to be my true self. So this is me putting myself out there, just letting you guys know what my life is like, letting you guys know what I've been through and my experiences, and just maybe it might give direction for somebody out there. Just maybe I might be able to connect with someone who might even be able to share information with me and give me value in return, something that, you know, maybe a new perspective that I haven't seen. And so this is my way of just going out there and being like, hey, you can either accept me or reject me in all my glory and in all my faults, but this is me. And so hopefully I can connect with you guys in that way. But relationships are hard, man. They are so hard. But I don't think there's anything more fulfilling than love, friendships, and relationships of all kind. I just don't think that there's been anything that I've experienced that fills me up and gives me more purpose and gives me more happiness than relationships. Like, not work, not like self-achievement, not, you know, materialistic things. Like, I just find that none of these things compare even closely. Now, I'm not pushing open relationships. I'm totally not promoting open relationships. They, I think, are probably harder than anything else I've ever experienced. But open relationships are simply another container, all dependent on what your parameters are and the boundaries that you decide for your relationship. Different types of containers are better for different types of people in different types of situations. And in my opinion, I think monogamy is absolutely amazing. It's something that I plan to experience sometime in the future again. It's something that I probably plan to end my life with. Like, I would like to end my life with a family and kids and marry a woman that I want to treat as a queen for the rest of my life until I die. This open relationship that I had was the greatest teacher for me. Like, I literally learned how to be a better lover. I learned how to be a better person. I learned how to be more stoic and how to be a lot more mindful about my actions and how I was impacting others. I learned how to love better. I learned how to give better. I learned how to care better. I learned how to appreciate better. I learned how to fucking value this person that was so important to me every single day like they were a new being. So I've been 100% transparent when it comes to me, but I do need to hold a level of discretion when it comes to other people because I want to make sure that, you know, I am respecting them as well. And essentially the way that it started was I first moved to San Diego, I think in 2018, approximately, yeah. I think like August of 2018, and I was originally moving to San Diego so I could do my master's in biomechanical engineering at UCSD. The moment I moved here, I met this chick on Tinder. At the time, I was like 21 or 22 or something like that. I just connected with extremely quickly. We started going to some festivals and some raves together. You know how that works. Rave bay, bro? Dude. But the big thing for me that I knew that I needed at that time was, one, I had just jumped out of a 4-year-long monogamous relationship from college in which not to, you know, expose or put anyone down, but that relationship was very controlling. Considering my childhood, that I lived sheltered in a house, being forced to study from morning to night, without being able to see any people outside of the house, without being able to see any friends at all, and then also not having any siblings. You know, I had a really, really lonely childhood, and I had a very, very controlling family at the time. Because of that, I realized that that's a childhood trauma that is extremely sensitive to me and something that I continuously try to be aware of and address. But that showed up again in my first ever long-term relationship, which was this 4-year relationship that I had in college. And so that was another trigger for me. Moving here, after I met this person, I explained that to her, like, hey, like, I really appreciate you and I really enjoy our time together. However, I feel that I can't be committed to anything right now because I need this for myself, and I know that if I were to commit to anything, I wouldn't feel right in myself. But unfortunately, you guys know how it works is whenever you're not in a relationship, but you get very close with someone, sometimes it can be a little bit messy, or sometimes it can be really difficult because there's feelings involved. We went through this up and down roller coaster of that kind of stuff for about a year until finally, at one point, we just stopped talking for like several months at hand. And I was seeing somebody else and she was seeing somebody else. And that was pretty hard, but it was a good, amazing experience for me to realize like, and think about, hey, what is it that I want right now? I don't know, if I was 22, 23 years old, you don't really know what you want at that time. Like, I was so young at the time, you know? And so I was just like, oh, maybe I want to like, do I still want to explore? Do I still want to be single? I just spent a month, 2 months just being by myself in my room, smoking weed, trying to figure out what it was that I wanted. And then I just decided, you know what? I think I really, really love this person and I really care about them. And I don't know what can happen from here. I don't. But all I know is that I want to tell them that I would like them to be in my life again and then figure it out together. Figure something out. So I went to her place with a bunch of flowers. She saw me and she was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I'm sorry. We talked for a little bit and then we decided after a long time, hey, let's try this out. We decided to become monogamous, and then we were in this monogamous relationship for a little bit, for several months, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. We were able to reconnect with each other. We were able to get really deep with each other. While we were in that monogamous relationship, we had some curiosities that sparked, and we started doing a little bit of research and looking up videos online on the potential possibilities that polyamory can offer. She had met someone who had experience in open relationships, and I think that kind of showed her that that was actually a potential possibility, because the whole time that we were having drama and I told her that I didn't want to be committed, she wanted to be in a committed, like, monogamous relationship with me. But finally, in that time apart, in that 3 months or so apart, she was introduced to these new possibilities, things like open relationships, things that seem like, oh, hey, maybe I can continue to love another being and see them as myself and want them to experience all that they have, that the universe has to offer them, but still give them love at the same time. And that is kind of a mindset that I've always wanted to incorporate, but I understand is probably one of the hardest things because jealousy still comes into play. We looked up and researched people such as, which I recommend you guys check out if you're interested in just researching anything about open relationships or polyamory. We watched a lot of things and listened to a lot of content by Esther Perel. Did watch some videos on Shan Booty. Badass Shan Booty. I don't know if you guys have heard of her. She's super sick. We also listened to some podcasts by Aubrey Marcus, another big role model of mine that I have been following for years. And then after like several months passed, I don't really quite remember how many months passed. Maybe was it like 3 months or something? Maybe in a monogamous relationship, we decided to slowly start opening things up. We definitely went on some apps that kind of resembled swinger apps, where like couples could, you know, meet other couples and stuff. Nothing ever happened from it. You know, we just went on it for fun just to check it out. You know, we just slowly opened it up until at one part she went out of the state to another place and I was staying in state, and we were just like, hey, you know, we're gonna be away from each other for like a week, 2 weeks or something. I love you to death and I care about you more than anything, and I want you to experience whatever it is that the universe has to offer you, that you find intriguing, that you find interesting, that you find curious about, something that you want to experience. And I don't want to hold you back from it because I love you and I want you to experience that love as well, even if it might make me jealous. And so we both said this to each other. Then we both like slept with another person. When we came back, we were just like, hey, how was your trip? It was great. Did you, you know, hook up with anybody? She's like, yeah. Did you? And I was just like, yeah. We both opened up to somebody else and it was really fucking hard, man. It was really hard. I was like crying for a whole night. Here's the thing is, if you're a guy who is very in touch with your hormones and very in touch with your testosterone, then you have a feeling of possessiveness over whoever it is that you are seeing or whoever your partner is. And that possessiveness comes from your your origins to want to protect, be a protector for them, be a fucking daddy for them, bro. Like, you want to fucking take care of your woman. You want to fucking make sure you take care of your family and breed your children and make sure that they're healthy and they're okay as well. And no matter what, how many times I practice this or how many times that I've been through polyamorous or open relationship situations, that feeling always comes up, that jealousy always comes up, that possessiveness always comes up. It crushed my heart, man. But you know what, like, really helped? You know what made it such a beautiful experience that allowed us to continue? Is that we had so much love for each other that none of it mattered, that we loved the other person so much, and that even though this was a fun experience, it really helped us realize that the other person is just so fucking important to us that we would give to them endlessly no matter what. From what I've heard, there's like 2 ways that people can go about open relationships, and that's either not full transparency or complete transparency. And the way that she and I went about it is complete 100% transparency. Like, tell each other absolutely everything when it happens. Whereas if you don't have full transparency and you decide that sometimes, I don't want to hear about it, I don't want to hear about that stuff, then maybe you can go about your day without having to worry about the things that will tear you to pieces. I kind of personally believe that open relationships that don't have full transparency aren't really real open relationships or aren't really real forms of polyamory, because in a way it can almost seem like the love is conditional. Like if you tell me like you did this or whatever, then I can't handle it and I can't take it, and like maybe I might retract my love or something like that. Obviously that's not true in all cases, and so she talked about her experience and I talked about mine, and it was incredibly difficult, but because we decided to give each other even more love when the other person was feeling their cup empty, it was kind of a beautiful opportunity for us to really connect and get even deeper with each other. And every time these kind of situations happen where one of us would like hook up with another person or one of us would connect with another person in a way that was more than just friends, we would continue to be there for our partner, and it created so much more passion. It created endless passion in a relationship that was like unreal, that I've never experienced in my entire life. Like, for 3 straight years I felt fiery fucking passion, man. Passion more than I've ever experienced in any other relationship that I've ever been in, and it was really beautiful. So I don't really know why I originally wanted to experience an open relationship. I'm not sure if it had to do anything with like some inner need of mine to have multiple girlfriends that might have derived from some kind of childhood trauma that I've had when I was younger, whether or not it'd be like maybe I didn't receive my validation that I wanted, or the love that I felt like I wanted from my mom, and so now I look for it through other females. Like, I'll be real, like I was one hell of a fuckboy, but now after everything that I've experienced, I have learned and realized that I can fill that cup that I feel like was empty through the love of my boys, my other female friends, and most importantly, myself. And that's all stuff that I learned from this relationship, from being within this relationship, as well as from breaking up from this relationship. But essentially, she and I went through a roller coaster of open relationship experiences for like a year and a half afterwards, where we would like, at first we just started doing things where we would just hook up with other people, but then slowly the relationships that we built started showing signs of like intimacy, and to the point where the experiences that we were having resembled a little bit more of a polyamorous relationship than just a open relationship. And polyamorous means, having love with multiple people. And then there's also polygamous, which means, having relationships, like having multiple partners. I never got to the point where we actually created titles, and so it was never polygamous. At one point, she and I started spending a little bit less time with each other, and this wasn't intentional, but it was simply because of the state of like life that we were in and what we were focusing on, and how we were both focusing on ourselves and our careers. She started seeing another person, even though I felt pretty hurt by the things that were happening at the time, and how she was seeing somebody else, and it was just very difficult for me to take. I, at the time, was not owning up to the fact that I had been so focused on my career. I was so focused on my personal growth, my bodybuilding journey, and my social media. I was so focused on myself and my career that I started giving less energy to her in our relationship. I still cared for her. I still valued her above everything, especially because, you know, our best friend Ryan died. Ever since then, I kind of took that as a, like, hey, wake up, you need to value your friends and your family even more. And so because of that, I, like, gave her as much love as I could. I cared about her over everything. But the thing that I didn't do is that I spent a lot of time for myself. I spent a lot of time alone, working on myself, working on my business, and that was me taking time away from the quality of time that we could be spending together, which is a huge love language, especially for us at the time. Now looking back on it, I realize what I could have done to make this different, if I wanted to. But I think at the time, I might not have even wanted to stay in this relationship, which is reflective of my actions and why the relationship ended. And so that's the thing that I realized, is that that shift in her commitment, her losing her desire to be committed to me in this way, especially after she's found somebody else who can bring her to amazing places and amazing festivals and things out of the country that I wasn't doing because I was just so focused on myself. Maybe that could have changed. Maybe I could have prevented that from happening by actually treating her truly like the princess that she was. Bringing her out to as many events as I wanted to bring her to, like going on trips together, just the two of us, like quality time. By my actions, I wasn't choosing to learn how to balance my relationship and my career. And so I let it fall through. And that's essentially the reason why our relationship ended, was that I just wasn't putting in the effort I should have been. So basically, after she told me that her commitment was wavering, I took it personally instead of, you know, opening up my third eye and trying to see really what was happening. And I broke up with her, and I told her, hey, if you can't give this commitment to me, then I can't owe you the title of being my girlfriend. Not seeing truly that I wasn't putting the effort either. And so looking back on it now, I think maybe it was the best decision for us, because maybe I wasn't ready to be in a relationship anymore. Maybe I wanted to focus more on my business and career at the time. I was having a lot of trouble going through this breakup, dude. It sounds very dark, but I just wanted to crawl in a hole and die. There were just so many times during the process of a breakup and after the breakup that were just completely unbearable to me, because this is the person that, even though we were in an open relationship, what we had was so valuable, what we had was so unconditional, that this was the person that I wanted to have kids with and die with. And we both agreed on this. Like, we would talk multiple times about how we wanted to close the relationship at some point, and we wanted to marry each other. We potentially wanted to even elope and not tell anybody, and, like, you know, have kids and then die together. And I let this go because I was just so absorbed in my life and my work, literally being torn to pieces, just thinking about how the love of my life was out there with another person, experiencing love with another person, and no longer wanting to experience this love with me. It was really hard to find self-love and self-confidence through it all. And if I didn't have the friends that I did in San Diego, I don't think I would have been able to. And then at the end of it, when I was just having the most pain and the most trouble, there was a massive Young LA shoot in LA that I had to go to the day of her birthday. Her birthday was even being put together by that one person. I was like, what the fuck do I do? Like, we're not seeing each other anymore, but I still love her and I still respect her more than anything. And I don't care whatever happens, whether or not we're not together anymore ever again. I want to continue to be there for her. And I wanted to be that person to continue to give her unconditional love. And when I went there, I don't really know what it was about that day. The day was so special, but I met some amazing fucking guys from Young LA that I just connected with almost instantly. The connection that I was able to build with them and the things that we were able to talk about completely changed my perspective on the whole situation in one day. One of these guys I met was Nimai Delgado, and we have been following each other for like 3+ years, but only now had we finally like met in person. And the moment we met in person, we connected in so many different ways, such as like our origins, where we started off as mechanical engineers, but then, you know, left mechanical engineering in order to, you know, pursue bodybuilding and social media. We also connected a lot on our beliefs in mindfulness and spirituality and a lot of other areas. Then we started talking about him and his past open relationship, as well as his beautiful new monogamous relationship now. He and Bianca have gone through a lot of things together, but they have a beautiful story. You guys should definitely check it out on their page. They have, I think, 2 podcast episodes on their relationship. Even though this relationship of mine has ended, it has now opened the opportunity for a beautiful new relationship, whether or not it is with the same person or a completely new person. Life continues, man, and like, even though we might be depressed that like, oh, maybe we felt like we lost the love of our lives, I truly believe that we can have multiple soulmates through our entire life, whether or not at different times or maybe even at the same time, I don't know. But like, I truly believe that like we can have different soulmates at different times. And maybe she was my soulmate for these last 3 years. I am for sure going to meet another person. My biggest takeaway from my conversation with Namai, I believe, was that I must take some time out of my relationship to sit and just be with myself and heal. Because if I move to another relationship without healing from the things that did not serve my last relationship, I will be planting that seed in my new relationship that will grow and potentially cause the exact same thing to happen that ended my previous relationship.
Mike just died again, so I just talked for 20 minutes. Oh shit. Oxy Shred showers, baby. I had to take some time off and just learn how to live with myself and heal from the things that I was doing. Even though we were in a great monogamous relationship for like several months, and then we were in this beautiful open relationship, I did not start the relationship on a good front. I started off the relationship previous to the monogamous portion with a lot of drama, and I just prioritized what I wanted to do without regard for her feelings, simply because I didn't want to be committed. I just was not serving her right, and I wasn't treating her right in the beginning. And that seed carried to the end of a relationship. When I ended the relationship, people forgive, but they don't forget. This I especially realized when she told me at the end of a relationship that I'm sorry, but I just don't want to repeat old patterns. After these interactions with these guys in Young LA, I felt like I finally had this beautiful opportunity to see the relationship from a third person point of view. And so I left the Young LA shoot early in order to make it back to her birthday dinner, and it was fucking hard, man. Dude, the open relationship container, it was hard as fuck. I'm not gonna say that it was easy at all. It wasn't easy. It wasn't even remotely close to easy. It was probably one of the hardest things I experienced. And I'm also not gonna say that a cycling regimen of microdosing psilocybin didn't probably help a little bit. Like, imagine the love of your life currently sleeping with another person. Like, that's probably one of the most distressful emotional things I've ever experienced in my entire life. Like, that's literally Mr. Brightside. But the entire experience just taught me so much, man. Through this breakup and through this whole open relationship, there were so many things I learned, dude. Like, this open relationship opened me up to a completely new mindset, and I became a completely different person after these 3 years. One motto that I stand for, which is attached to nothing, connected to everything. I do truly believe that attachment is suffering, and from this experience, I was able to learn that in releasing attachments and releasing expectations, I found that I've been able to gain a perspective that I feel like is more beneficial for myself, in which I can value everything as a blessing rather than something that I deserve. The relationship also helped me release my dependency on another's validation for happiness, and instead just depend on my own self-love and self-confidence. If you can truly learn to love yourself fully, then you can fill your own cup. And any other love that you receive from anybody else is simply extra overfilling your cup. And with an overfilled cup, you have so much love to give to others. But if you don't have any self-love for yourself, your cup is left empty. And with an empty cup, how do you have any to give to others? How can you love another person without loving yourself? Even though I do see myself being in a monogamous relationship again someday and potentially ending, the latter half of my life with a monogamous relationship, I do see the potential of me being in an open relationship again someday. I feel like I could talk about this topic endlessly, but if you guys actually have any particular questions, whether or not it be about relationships in general, open relationships, or even anything else, maybe things regarding fitness, then please comment them below. And then if you guys want to check out my HRT clinic, that clinic is Transcend, where I get all my medications prescribed, including my TRT, which is my testosterone, as well as like this dope ass Botox cream that I've been using, as well as like testosterone and ipamorelin, which are growth hormone secretagogues that will help boost your growth hormone and thus also help your hair, skin, and nails, help you look younger and feel good, as well as help burn fat, more particularly in the belly. That's what testosterone does. Then you can check out that company, Transcend HRT, by clicking the link in the description. And you can also sign up by clicking that link as well. And then if you guys want to check out the clothes that I wear, like this dope ass fucking pants that I'm wearing, these dope ass like Japanese yoga pants. I get this shit from Young LA, and you guys can use code NILE for an extra 50% off. And then a lot of the jewelry that I wear as well. I wear jewelry from different companies, but one of the companies that I wear a crap ton of my jewelry from, at least like half of the stuff that I wear, is from Regiment. They have a bunch of sick rings, bracelets, necklaces, a bunch of other shit. And you can go to regiment.com, and you guys can also use code NILE for an extra, I don't remember, but you get some dope ass discount using code NILE as well. And then finally, if you guys want to try the supplements that I use for working out, such as the Oxy Shred, which is a dope ass thermogenic fat burner pre-workout with L-theanine, which means it's got like little jitters and a little like no crash, which is pretty dope. L-theanine is a substance in green tea. Then you guys can check it out at ehplabs.com, and guys, you can use code NILE10 for an extra 10% off. The supplements include PSI, Isopept, which is a whey protein, creatine, bunch of other cool shit that I like to use. I appreciate you guys for watching. I would not be here without y'all. Like, I sincerely appreciate all y'all's support. You guys are literally the reason that I can continue, and like, honestly, meeting a lot of you people in person has been the sickest thing in the world. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.